Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, and I'm going to be reviewing the first 3 books that are in it. So yeah, we have City of Bones, City of Ashes, and then City of Glass. I've already read this series actually. I've read the Mortal Instruments, I haven't read her other stuff. I just started the Infernal Devices this morning, so I'm a little bit into Clockwork Angel, but I just wanted to reread this series before I read the Infernal Devices. I haven't read the second half of it yet though, I've only done the first half. And I just wanted to share my thoughts on the series with you guys because when I read them in like middle school, maybe early high school, and now I'm in college. I'm a very different person. So I just wanted to share my thoughts that I was thinking while I read this series, and I'm just gonna rate each book too as we go, so let's get started. Also, before I forget, this is a spoiler warning, so if you have not read the entirety of the Mortal Instruments series, I would stop now and I would read it first before watching this video, because I'm going to be talking about the first 3 books, yes, but I do remember some things from the last 3 books. Not a whole lot, just like some. So I will be mentioning some things, so this is just a spoiler warning to get out now before things are spoiled for you. Alright, so up first we have City of Bones, the original, the one that started it all. I can just say right now, before reading any of my notes that I took, I was not the biggest fan of this book when I reread it. I think when I first read it, way back when, it was amazing and I loved it, and it just ignited this whole love of like the series for me. But knowing like all the other books and some of the things that happened in the books, it did not do it for me as well as it did last time I read it. So I took some notes on my phone, so let me just pull those up. But yeah. Alright, so the first note that I have is that it's kind of boring. And I feel so bad for saying that because I think if I was reading this for the first time, it wouldn't be kind of boring. I think it would be like pretty exciting and whatever, but I already know like some events that happen. A lot I forget, but some of the big events I know have already happened. Alright, next up, Clare is being so annoying, but I get it because she's only 15. So yeah, throughout this entire book, I was very frustrated with Clare because she's not like a very capable protagonist. She kind of, things happen to her and around her, but she never causes them to happen kind of thing, at least in my eyes. But like, then again, she's also 15 years old, and like, some of her behavior in this book was like not the best, but I've been so used to reading books with like characters that are 18, 19, 20, you know, like, and she's 15. I was not mature at 15, so I totally understand. I'm not gonna bash Cassandra Clare for making her like this, but it was a little annoying. Jace's sense of humor is elite. Elite. He is so sarcastic and so funny, and it literally made this book. So his sense of humor really kept me going. Why bring Simon along anywhere? So I remember when I first read this series, I was not the biggest fan of Simon. And I'm still like not really. But especially in the first 2 books, I couldn't stand him. Like, Clary is helpless herself. Like, she can't do anything. She doesn't know how to do anything. But like, she brings Simon to these places, like to Magnus's party, and he was in like the vampire den, and she brings him all over the place into the institute, and he's just a human and like can't defend himself. He's kind of useless. Like, I don't understand why she insisted on bringing him along like everywhere. I didn't get it. Oh yeah, another thing is nobody throughout the entire book, and I think the second book too, they don't teach her how to fight or like do any runes or anything. They figure out she's a shadow hunter, and they're like, oh, okay, you're a shadow hunter. And she doesn't know how to do anything, so like, like it's kind of not good. So they definitely should have taught her like some basic runes or like how to like self-defense 101, you know, like instead of just throwing her into the fray. Ha, get it? Fray. So I was a little annoyed that they were just sending her out there with no training. And not only in this book, like maybe if it was just this book I could understand, but the second book as well, and also most of the third book. Like, girl, get some training. Like, bro. During like that battle at that like mansion or whatever with Valentine and like all of his Forsaken warriors, I was like a huge fan of the werewolves, like going in, and I completely forgot that a lot of them died. Like I was meeting these like two cool werewolf characters, like Luke's first and second. I didn't even know their names, but like they die. And it's like, so they seem like such cool characters, and I feel like spin-off series or like they could have been in the books longer. And I know that Maya is like introduced later, but like those characters in this book, they had like 3 pages of content for them, but they were so cool, and I was so mad when she killed them off. This book has the stupidest plot twist, I think, in like the history of books that I've read. And that's like a lot. This plot twist was horrible. I don't know what was going through her mind when she was like, oh, I know what'll be great. Let's make them think they're brother and sister. But then 2 books later, psych, they're not. Like, huh. Is this anyone's like fantasy to like be in love with their brother or sister? Cause like, it's kind of messed up, Cassie. It's kind of messed up. Yeah, I have never been a fan of this from the first book, the first time I read it, until now. I'm still not a fan. So like, I don't know what she was thinking. I don't get it. And one thing that really, really annoyed me, last thing for this book, is that Jace had such blind faith in Valentine. He's like, there's been a misunderstanding, like blah 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 blah. Like he just kind of overshadowed the fact that Valentine did all these horrible things just because he found out that he was his dad. And like it just really annoyed me. Like Jace, throughout the whole book, he seems like his own person. He's so unique. He's so like, his sense of humor is spot on, and he seems like he's his own person. He runs his own world, like all that. But then as soon as Valentine shows up, he's like, okay, whatever you want, Dad, like I trust you. And like, oh, I don't get it. I don't get it. That was another thing that really annoyed me. And he doesn't even like overcome this until like the 3rd book, really. So Jace used to be like one of my favorite characters, but now after like these first 2 books, I don't know. But yeah, some final thoughts with City of Bones. It was more boring than I remember, but that might just be because I know a lot of really good things happen in the later books, so this one just didn't do it for me like it did back in the day. The characters are really cool. Isabel seems awesome. Alec was like good. Magnus is my favorite. We'll get to him later though. Clary, helpless. Simon, why is he here? Jace, what the heck are you doing with your dad, buddy? Like, so City of Bones, I think my final rating for this was like 2 stars. Which is like, it sucks because it's the first book people usually read in the series, and this is what they're introduced to, like the world and stuff, and I just didn't like it as much as I did in the past. And yeah. Alright, next up is City of Ashes. This book. This is my least favorite book in the entire series. I haven't read City of Fallen Angels yet. I know I didn't like that one when I first read it, but as of right now, this book takes the cake for being the worst. Like, I was so bored the entire time. Like, yeah, the threat of like Valentine stuff, but the plot was just like all over the place. There wasn't really like one set goal or whatever. I don't know, there was too much time spent on like Clare and Simon together, which I'm not a huge fan of him. I think they're great friends, but I don't like their relationship romantically. Yeah. And I'm trying to think what else. This book is just a lot. I have notes. I'm just, oh, yeah. Let's just get to the notes because this book, I have a lot on it. Alright, again, first notes. Jace is an idiot for trusting Valentine. Literally, I don't know why he does it. His character development seemed great, and then Valentine came along and it all went downhill. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand. Then I say, Clare and Simon just don't go together. And I totally agree with my past self. They really don't. They're great friends, but like, there's no chemistry. When they were in a relationship, it was very like, meh. Like, maybe for Simon it was great, but for Clary, she was just kind of just going through the motion. Like, she didn't, I don't know, there was never that spark. There was never like, oh, like, I'm in love with him, like, I like him, or whatever. And then all of a sudden Simon was like, yeah, that's my girlfriend. And like, she doesn't say anything to be like, no, I'm not, or like, not yet, or whatever. She just kind of was like, eh. Like, what? I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, again, I say Clary kind of sucks. She can't do anything and everything always happens to her and around her. And yeah, like, I think this book would have been like so much better if they just put in some elements of like training her how to like write the runes or like fight demons or whatever, because she's just going in blind again. Again. Like, you think Jace would do it, but no. No. And another thing I wrote again is, why does she bring Simon everywhere? Like, she's useless, but he is even more so until he becomes a vampire. But like, why does she bring him everywhere? I don't get it. I don't get it. Never did. I said it's really, really weird that the Seelie Queen had them kiss. Like, I understand she knew they weren't brother and sister, but like, it's still so weird. Like, I support Clary and Jace's relationship, but that whole time when they thought they were brother and sister was a time. Don't want to talk about it. But yeah, I didn't like that part. It made me uncomfy. The energy in the room was not what we wanted. I said, nobody cares about you, Simon. Probably when he was turning into a vampire and she was like, oh my god, he's dead. I'm like, nobody cares. I just wanted this book to be over, if you couldn't tell. Jace is, again, an idiot for trusting Valentine. And I wrote, but I see where he's coming from with wanting to protect his friends. So, like, yeah, I get you want to protect Claire, you want to protect your fam, like Isabel and Alec and whatever. He's smart for like not going along with Valentine's plans, but like still, like, you're an idiot if you think that Valentine is going to do anything for you. Like, no. And then after this whole encounter with Jace and Valentine, like them talking on the boat, after Jace just goes there, so Valentine just let him go. Like, why would he do that? Jace knows where the boat is, what it looks like, kind of what his dad's doing, like, not his dad, but like, I don't know why Valentine let him go. That was his first big mistake. Like, I was so confused. Like, I know it's supposed to like make the reader think that Jace is like siding with Valentine, but like in reality it never would have happened if Jace said like, no, I don't want to help you, Dad. Like, Valentine would have been like, okay, like, you're dead, or okay, imprisoned. Like, no, he wouldn't have let him go. Like, I don't know how Jace got away. I said the boat battle was pretty cool, but a bit confusing. It's kind of all over the place, not really a great battle scene. It was just like, things just happened and we were like, oh my god. But I don't even know how to describe it. It was just very muddled and confusing. But I guess it was kind of cool. And we never find out what happens to Maya at the end of this book. I know in the third book we see her and whatnot, but like, she escapes out of the hole that Clary made with the steel? I call it a steel, I don't know. With the drawing thing to draw the runes. Maya escapes into the ship and we don't hear from her or about her for the rest of the book. And I'm just like, where did she go? Is she okay? Like, I don't know. I just, like, that's a plot hole right there. I know she like fixed it in the next book, but like, and the last thing for this book was, I said the ending was really frustrating because I thought that they would only have like this book, and at the end of this book they'd be like, oh, like, you're not brother and sister. But I thought wrong, and that happens in the third book, like halfway through or whatever, or more than halfway, which is worse. But yeah, I was really disappointed by this ending. They're still thinking they're brother and sister, and they're still like, oh, we can't do anything, but they both want to, and it's just, it's like, puts us in a really uncomfy position because I was rooting for them all along, but like at this, because I knew they weren't actually brother and sister, but just like watching their relationship thinking they are brother and sister was just very uncomfortable, and I did not like it at all. In conclusion, this book I think I gave, I don't even know, 1 star maybe? Or maybe City of Bones was 3 and this was 2, I don't know. Pretty low. Nothing really redeemed this book except for Jace's humor and Simon's sarcasm. And that is it. And I'm not even a huge fan of Simon's, like, that's saying something. But yeah. Alright, and last up for this video we have City of Glass, the only redeeming book in the first little trilogy. Yes, this book was amazing. I think I gave it like 5 stars. I don't know if it deserves 5 stars, maybe it's like 4.5 really, but it was so good. I think I was just so happy to finally get a really good book after the first 2. I was just so happy. But yeah, let's get into it. So I took a lot of notes for this book because I was very emotional, and like, just very excited, you know, because I finally had like stuff I wanted to talk about instead of just like, ugh, like dreading the book to keep on going. First off, I was like hyping up Luke, because in the beginning of this book, Luke is like, oh, like, Clare, you're being a child, you're being very like childish and immature and selfish, and like she was, but she's still 15 or 16 now, so like, please, like, just keep that in mind when you're reading this. Like, she is not very mature, but she's also very young. So just, but yeah, anyway, Clare was being a child and being very immature, and he told her off, and I was like, yes, Luke. And so right away, I didn't remember much about this book, but when they mentioned the lake, and when they like went through the lake, like Lynn, I think it's called, but then he mentions that it's like, some people call it like the mirror, or whatever. I forget the names. But I was like, wait a second, is this the mirror? But I didn't remember. I was like, oh, I don't know. So I just forgot about it. Spoiler alert, it was the mirror. And then they mentioned Herondale. Like, I think Luke's sister is a Herondale because she marries into the family. And I was like, oh my god, is Luke a Herondale? Because I hear so much about the Herondales from like TikTok. I'm in the middle of the first book in the Infernal Devices, which is Clockwork Angel. So I've met them, I guess. But yeah, I was so excited to be like, oh my god, is Luke a Herondale? But he's not. Whatever, it's fine. And this is the first time I'm really like sympathizing with Simon. Like, yeah, he turns into a vampire, whatever, that sucks. But like, poor Simon, he gets sucked into the portal away from his home into the Shadowhunter world and like imprisoned and like starved, and it was just like not a good combination. I felt sorry for Simon, which is like so weird to say because I didn't like him in the first two books, but now I like him a lot more. But yeah, poor Simon. And right when we meet this Inquisitor and he's like talking to Simon about like all this stuff about like framing the Lightwoods and whatnot, I was like, oh my god, this Inquisitor is so much worse than the last one. Like, bro. The last one, yeah, she was kind of crazy and she like really wanted Jace to like go down, but she thought he was Valentine's son and whatnot, but like, at least she was trying to do the right thing. But he's just like trying to frame them and like push all the blame onto them, so yeah, I don't like him at all. I said, damn, Jace, not cool. And I think this was in regards to him talking to Clare and being like, I don't want you here, and like, you suck, and like all this stuff, and then she leaves like crying. Yeah, he was really harsh. And then Isabel and Alec were like, bro. Yeah, I was like, bro. And then Sebastian walks Clary home from the Lightwoods, and she was like, I don't have the energy to get to know you. And I was like, bruh, that is so mean to say. Like, yeah, Sebastian, whatever, but he was such a nice guy in the beginning, and she just goes up to him and says like, yeah, I don't have the energy to get to know you. Like, bro, that's brutal. But yeah, so anyway, Clary is in a really dark place now. She goes home after Jace basically tells her he hates her and to get out. And she goes home and she's like crying. Or no, I don't think she is crying. She's like so empty inside that she can't cry. I don't know, but just the words she was saying and like her thoughts, how she was so alone and like there was nobody in the world that was like, that could understand, and oh, I felt so bad for her. I was like, Clary. She was like in such a dark place. And next thing we know, Clary and Jace are on a mission together. They're going to the old Wayland Manor, and they are going to find the cookbook with the white book for Magnus or whatever. Yeah, they find it, whatever, but then they go downstairs and find the angel, Ithuriel. But yeah, and Ithuriel's like there, basically dying, but he can't die, and it was really sad and whatever, and he gives them all these memories and stuff, but like he couldn't reveal that they weren't brother and sister. Like, he couldn't do that before he died. Like, bro, it's like so easy, just mutter 3 words and be like, you're not related. Would have solved so many problems and issues. But I get it, he was dying, he was like spending years and years being tortured by Valentine, so I get it. But like at the same time, come on, man. Yeah, so I said I totally love Jace and Clary. I think their relationship is great. They have the chemistry, they're so cute together. But like, get rid of the incest. Like, just get rid of the incest. It's not a good idea. Nobody wanted it, nobody asked for it, and we want it gone. So just get rid of it. Never again. And then I was like, yes, Clary finally has self-respect. She definitely goes through a big change in this book. Like the first two, she kind of stays the same, but this book, she like morphs dramatically. So go Clary. I said Magnus is best character. And he really is. Like, oh, his sense of humor is amazing. He's so sarcastic and it's just so great. And him and Alec, so cute. So cute. Oh my god. And I said Sebastian gives me really bad vibes. I already knew Sebastian was Clary's brother, and I already knew he was really evil with like the demon blood. I knew this going into this book. But still, like, he has a lot of warning signs that he gives off throughout this book before they even know that he's like bad. So I just wanted to note that there are a lot of warning signs, and he got some really bad vibes. And they should have picked up on that. So when they rescue Simon from the prison and they get him out, they get out the person next to Simon who was like talking to him, and he's got like a beard now and whatnot. But then they were trying to get him to talk and be like, what's up? And he started talking like, no, I don't want to come out of the prison, I want to stay. And then they find out it's Hodge, but like Jace and Alec, why do they not recognize his voice? Like they were raised by him basically. Like they couldn't recognize his voice? And how did he grow a beard and like look all raggedy? It was only like a few weeks at the most since like the first book. Like bro, I don't know what's going on there. So I think it was not fair at all that Max died. There was no point to his death. We don't really hear anything about it, how it happened, but basically we just know that Sebastian killed him. But didn't kill Isabel? Like, Isabel's the greater threat, man. But yeah, it's just like, why would you... I was really angry. I forgot that Max died, and I was really angry. And I'm still angry about it, actually. It's so unnecessary. Also, I was thinking, like, since Max is so young, I thought that he would be in, like, the later books, like in The Dark Artifices? Yeah, I thought he would be in like there. I thought he would grow up and be in that book with whoever's in that book. I don't remember. I haven't read those yet. I thought he would be in there, but he's dead, so no. Angry. I always have loved the idea of white for funerals. I know I live in America, we do black for funerals. I know a lot of the world is black. But like, especially like explained in these books and other books that I've read, like white for funerals is like so like, because white is like pure and like whatever, but black is like the shadow hunter like gear. But I just like the idea of like white like washing away like all the sadness and like everything that's impure about death and stuff. And I don't know, I just really like that. I really liked that she added the white for funerals and everything. Yeah. Clary said this one line, she said like, not everything is about you, Jace. And I was like, yes, go Clary. Tell him. Because his ego is like astronomically high. But yeah, I was like, yes girl, go for it. And finally, after 2.5 books, they finally are not related. They finally find out that they're not related. Because Clary's mom comes back and like wakes up, and I was so relieved. I was like, yes, finally, like, oh, that was horrible. 2.5 books. Actually, it was more like 1.5 books because we only find out at the end of the first one. But that's still too long to think the person you love, like romantically, is your brother. When they're gearing up for like the final battle and they're all like choosing partners, like the Shadow Hunter is choosing a Downworlder to be their partner, or vice versa. It was so cute when Magnus and Alec kissed. Like, yeah, I love Claire and Jace together, I think they're great, but like the relationship I 100% support is Magnus and Alec. Like, love them to death. I would die for them. They are so cute, and I'm so glad Alec finally kissed him in front of everyone. And then when they were explaining how like Valentine raised Jace in the Wayland Manor, but then he raised Sebastian somewhere else, or like Jonathan, I guess. I was like, how did he do that? Like, literally how? Like, he has to split his time between 2 kids who are the same age, 2 houses, we don't even know where the second house was or whatever, and like all those servants or whatever, and the money that had to go into supporting everyone, like. And then Jace was saying in the first book that he got anything he wanted for like his birthdays, like horses, weapons, the falcon or whatever. How did Valentine have the money for this? Like, literally how? Also, did nobody recognize him? Like, there's like servants and stuff. I know at least at Jace's childhood home there were servants, because he mentions it. But like, did nobody recognize Valentine? I feel like he's a pretty notorious guy. Like, the only way that he could have gotten away with it, I think, is like glamoring himself somehow, or like changing his appearance. But he obviously didn't, because Jace recognized him right away when he saw him, so like, don't know how he did that. Unsure. Another plot hole. Okay, so this next note is after the battle, after everything happens. I think Aline or something her name is. We see her very briefly. She's like, maybe Jace wants what he can't have, because Jace and Clare are acting weird again. And then Isabel was like, no, that's not like him. Bruh, yes it is. You said earlier in the book, you were like, Jace always goes after the girls, but as soon as he gets to know them, he like yeets out of there. Like, yes it is. That is exactly how he was before he met Clary. Like, bro, did you forget? Like, yeah, he does want what he can't have. He likes the chase, and then when the chase is over, he gets out of there. I mean, it's different for Clary, I know, but like, don't go around saying that's not like him, because it totally is. And then Jace was thinking, maybe Clary wanted nothing to do with him. Bro, she literally chose you over the entire world. She could have had anything. Anything. Oh my god, and she chose to bring you back to life. Like, what do you mean she doesn't want you anymore? Are you stupid? Like, bro. And then Magnus was talking to, they said like a brown-haired girl with like light brown hair or whatever. And I was like, is that Tessa? Because I know Tessa is some sort of downwelder. And I know she has brown hair, and that's it. So I don't know if she's still alive at the end of the trilogy. Don't spoil it for me. I don't know. But I was like, is that her? Like, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I hope it is. That'd be a cool cameo, right? But I don't know. Just a thought. Okay, so some final thoughts for City of Glass. Here we go. Max's death, stupid, pointless, didn't need it. Didn't really advance the story at all. Like, yeah, the family was sad, but like, that's about it. Like, it didn't do anything for anyone, really. Kind of pointless. I liked Clary a lot more in this book. I think she grew a lot as a character. I think she's finally starting to stand up for herself in a lot of situations. I'm so glad the incest is finally over. I wish there were maps in these books. Like, I was trying to look in the beginning of the book to see like a map of Idris or a map of like New York and like whatever, but there's no maps, and I'm trying to like imagine where like the houses are and like the city, and I'm like, I do a pretty good job of it, but like, I wish there were maps. Like, that'd be so cool to have maps in these books. She really missed out on that. So the next point that I have is the Herondales all have like the same star-shaped birthmark or whatever, because one of them came in contact with an angel. And I was thinking it has something to do with Will and Jem in the Infernal Devices. I don't know yet. Maybe one of them. I think Will is the only Herondale. I don't think Jem is a Herondale. But I think like something happens with him, right? Maybe? Maybe. That'd be really cool if it did. Tie things back together. But like, I don't know. But yeah, final thoughts about this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was really good. I loved it. It was great. Yeah. So my camera is dying, so I gotta get this outro done. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. This was the first part of my review for this series. I only did the first 3 because I'm gonna read the Mortal Instruments now. And we'll see how those go. I'll probably do a video about my reactions to the Mortal Instruments. No, the Infernal Devices, that's what I mean. I'll probably do a video reacting to those, so stay tuned for that. but then after I'll probably finish up reviewing this series. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Here are all my socials where I can be found on the internet. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much, guys. Bye.